everyone, it's Lisa from Primitive Gatherings, and I'm here at Anchor Point, ready to say goodbye to 2020 and hello to 2021. I personally have very mixed feelings about 2020. I am an optimist, so I don't tend to normally think about the negative parts of anything. So for 2020, looking back for me, I kind of think that it wasn't all bad. And I know that some people did have it like that. So I feel for them. I'm thankful that it made me uncomfortable and made me pursue some other things that I normally would not have done. So because it made me do that, I think some good things happen. So it's kind of like, yes, these bad things happen, but yet we turn them into good things. And if I had to say, like, what was negative about 2020, and as business, I would say it was the shipping problems that everybody had. But my staff did an amazing job with shipping and getting orders out. We had a lot of orders. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that we didn't. It was amazing. I was so glad that we were there for you this year to help you create and help you get through being home, being lonely maybe. That's why this group is here with Stitch with Lisa. That was created so we could hang out together and be social and not feel so alone. So that was really good in my opinion. I got to stay home, and to me that was, at first I thought that was going to be a negative because we weren't going to be going to these shows that my business needs to keep going and to plan, and we need to be at these quilt shows because that was what our business was like. That's what we knew. That's what we were comfortable with. That's what we could plan on. And then when that got taken away, it was like, okay, what are we going to do? So I put my thinking cap on and I thought, okay, let's create this group. Let's see how many people we can touch. Let's see if we can teach, because I can't teach anymore. I'm not going anywhere. And it didn't look like, we thought maybe once summer came along that everything would go away, but we all know that didn't happen. So we just kept doing what we did and went along with our events. So me being home was not really negative, even though I thought it was going to be at first. I got to take care of myself. I probably lost a quarter of myself in 2020. So, being home, being a negative, but yet me being able to concentrate on my health was really a positive. But there was a couple epic fails for me. And I think I can't sit here and tell you all the good things that happened without telling you some of the epic fails. And even though it's really not epic fail, it kind of is, but it kind of is not. So one of that was one of my sewing projects. Really, I really let myself down. And what I mean by that is this was something I was doing for myself. And I was doing 366 days of a little patchwork. And about May, June-ish, I just kind of forgot about it. And then I thought, well, I can still write about what I should have stitched that day. Well, then, I forgot about it again. So here I have this project started with my blocks the beginning of the year. So this is my epic fail, because here I am sitting at somewhere around May and I stopped. But I'm hoping you can help me with this. So what do you think I should do? How can I turn this around? Can I just put one block in that says, okay, starting over, and then maybe pick up in 2021 where I kind of left off, because I still have lots of blocks that I didn't even add to my quilt. So this is about April, I can tell, because Luke turned 32. So here I still have blocks that I didn't add and ones that have nothing on. So help me figure out what I should do. Give me some suggestions, because all I can think of right now is adding the ones I've got done and just do a like, okay, COVID, whatever, and then start over in 2021. That's my only idea. How to resurrect one of my epic fails. So see, we all fail at something. And even though this is not, detrimental or whatever, it's still, in my opinion, a fail. I neglected the one thing I wanted to do for myself, was to stitch something little every day. But when your world gets turned upside down and you have to figure out how to reinvent your business and do some of those other things, that got left behind. So there's my epic fail. So all in all, is it really that bad? No. I did keep up with some of the things that I had to keep up with, that were work related, that had to get done. And one of them is the Moda blockheads. I am up to date. Here is my folder of my Moda blockheads. As you notice my shirt, I'm wearing my Moda blockheads shirt. So hopefully you got yourself one of those if you're a Moda blockhead. I did 4-inch blocks, and I know some of you probably have seen all these, but remember, we always have new people come on. So I just want to flip through, because we only have a couple blocks of Moda blockheads left, and it will end in a couple weeks. Everybody's getting nervous about how they're going to do their quilt. And I promise I will give you my finishing with the instructions. So don't you worry about that. That is all happening. So let's see. I'm getting to the end. I did some alternate blocks here and there. When there was an applique block, because I just wanted to do all pieced blocks in here. So this was yesterday's block. So I am on 52. So this was a 2020 success. And if you want, you can still go download all of those blocks and put them in a binder. Doesn't mean you have to do them right away, but I think it's pretty cool to have all those blocks. So if you didn't sew along with us, maybe you go to the Moda Blockheads archive. I think I just posted that on my blog yesterday. So that'll bring you right there to the Moda archive, and you can print out all those blocks. There's 56. And some of them are really unique and pretty cool. So I would do that if I were you. Now, another success in 2020 was Social Lights started in fall. Now, I am actually ahead on Social Lights. I have 2 blocks that haven't posted yet because Kimberly took a break during the holidays. Thank you, Kimberly. That was awesome. So I am now really ahead, and I have done my Urban Farmhouse fabrics in 9-inch, and then I have done 3-inch in Moda Bellas. And I'm kind of doing like a fall look to my blocks. So lots of grays, oranges, taupes, a little bit of yellow. So I am ahead. So I got to make sure, I don't know, but see this one I have ahead, and I have this one. So I don't know if that's how big of a secret those are. So in case they are, I don't need to get in trouble. So success for Social Lights, and I think this still goes on a couple months yet. I think there's 36 blocks. We are probably a third of the way through. So look for that at the Fat Quarter Shop. And thanks, Kimberly, again for inviting me to be a part of that. I really appreciate that when I get to do that. Our summer block of the week in 2020 was amazing. We had record numbers in those blocks. We did English paper piecing, we did a wool one, and we did a pieced one. I will be doing those a little bit different for next year, because right at that time when we would normally do our summer blocks of the week, we will be moving into our new building. So that's going to look a little different, and I might start one a little earlier, about March or April. So look for that. And then we will add them and not do all three at once, if that makes sense. And remember, you're welcome to comment on anything I talk about here. We have Jess with us in the group. Answer questions. Kaylee's here too, so she's looking for any questions you may have. So don't be afraid. Be brave. Be brave in 2021. Participate. Ask us questions. Show us your quilts. We want to see all that. So maybe that will be somebody else's goal for 2021, is to maybe participate a little bit more. So also in 2020, successes were our holiday event. Again, record numbers. We're hoping everybody has all their packages from our holiday event that happened right before Thanksgiving. And again, like I said, record numbers in that. So our shop people really busted and got those out for you as fast as possible. And the only thing that held us up was the post office. And I don't want to get down on them, because I can't imagine what that job was like with everybody being home and everybody ordering and shopping online. That must have been crazy. So please kind of keep that in mind when you are struggling about, everybody in the group's posting that they have this and you don't have yours yet. So just kind of keep that in mind. Ask Kaylee.
There's a little bit of inquiry as far as they want kind of what's the theme for the summer block of the week going to be? Oh,
okay. So the summer block of the week this year is going to be, it's going to be kind of based on vintage design is what I'm going to do with that. It will be multiple blocks, smaller blocks. It'll be pretty simple and fun. So I don't want to give it away, but you don't want to miss out on it. It's gonna be epic. It's gonna be epic. It's not gonna be fall and super cool like the fall one was, because everybody loves fall. But it's gonna be awesome and you will love it. And it's gonna be it's not gonna be seasonally themed. It's gonna be every day. But it's based on a vintage idea that I found. So that's what you're gonna look forward to. I think we have the English paper pieced one in mind, and I think we might have the pieced one also, but part of my goal this year is to be more organized, and so far it's working. I have all this written down. I didn't come here 10 minutes ahead and wing it like I usually do. So if you see me looking at my notes, that's what I'm doing. I don't want to forget anything. I took the time to write this all down, so I'm going to somewhat follow it. So then another success was our 12 days of Christmas. So if this was your first 12 days or your 8th 12 days, we really appreciate that we can offer those needful things that I think quilters can't live without for special prices. And we throw in a couple exclusive primitive gatherings things, like the seam rippers, like the hangers for quilts that Scotty makes, that we have one behind here, and the 3 one is over here. So Kaylee will show you those later. I have taken down all the Christmas. Kaylee walked in the house, she goes, oh my God, it looks like a brand new house, like there's nothing in it. So I didn't really decorate yet, and I kind of like how sparse it is. It does look very clean and very sparse, but I did put the blue and white quilts out, because I had to make room for the red and white to go on the shelf. So the blue and white came out, and we will be maybe doing a little decorating, maybe not, I don't know. I kind of like it. Kind of like that there's not a lot of clutter around. After Christmas, I had a lot of stuff at Christmas out, so it was kind of crazy. So I kind of like this calmness of the blue and the white, and very very limited stuff that I have to worry about. And I'm sure Christine loves it that she doesn't have to pick up all that stuff and dust around it. Okay, so those to me were a lot of successes and the start of our new building. That is like my epic goal, really. I've been talking about building a new primitive gatherings for years. So the start, the build, the ongoing meetings that I have, I just picked out tiles and carpeting and paint chips and all that kind of stuff at our last meeting. And it's all kind of coming together, and the weather has been cooperating. So I think that is a huge success. I kind of like was ignoring it. All right, I guess we're back online now. Had a little glitch. I guess that happens out here when you live on a lake. So we switched to a different internet. We have 3 different ones in this house. So sometimes it likes to switch over to the cable one and not our dedicated one that we have for this live stream. So I think we're back online now, and I will continue on with what we were talking about. And we were talking about the successes, the shop, and how that is my ultimate goal, dream, whatever you want to call it, is happening this year in 2021. So I invite you along for the ride. Kaylee says she's got some new photos she's going to be sharing in a video coming up. So that will be pretty exciting, that you can see all the hard work, all the planning, all the people involved. I so appreciate these guys working out in this cold weather. I kind of go try to talk to them. I think they think I'm a little weird that I go talk to them. I put on my work boots, I put on my hard hat, and I go and talk to them a little bit. Just because I want them to know that I'm normal and that I care about them. Not, just some weird lady building these buildings to have her quilting friends over. So I still bake them cookies on Tuesdays for our meetings. All right, so that was 2020 successes. So looking ahead for 2021, I kind of approach a new year, I don't like rush in. I'm not all crazy about making all these goals and all these plans, but I think it is vital to a business person and in your life to have goals and to have things to look forward to. So whatever you want to call them, goals or resolutions or whatever you want to call them, that's what you do. But I think of them as goals or things I want to accomplish for the year. And whether it's a life goal or a work goal, I think it's all the same. So what I do is I kind of take stock. I kind of look around, see where I'm at. Like what happened last year? What makes me happy? And I write all this stuff down and I plan my goals. And I don't try to do too many. I think having a few of them is better than having all these goals. And it's okay to change your goal in the middle of what we're doing. So maybe something's not working out. Maybe, like I'm sure my goals changed in the beginning of last year because of COVID. So I had to change. But do you get all nervous about that? No, you just adjust and relax and be reasonable and carry on. And I think one of the things that I think is a key to the whole thing of being successful is being consistent. So if you can be consistent in what you're doing, that is going to yield your results. That's going to give you your results. If you put your time in and be consistent, that's when the results happen. And one of the things that I have to work on this year is getting on my bike, because I have this goal last year that I want, once we decided that I was going to be staying home, I wanted to take care of myself, I want to lose some weight. And one of the things I need to do now to achieve that goal is I need to get on my bike. I need to exercise. And that's, I think, the only way I'm going to achieve my goal is if I actually work out. I like being outdoors, but I don't like working out indoors. So for me, I have to get on my Peloton. And one of the quotes that I came across this year was from Dennis Morton. He's my guy. He's the one that I like. And he said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. Now that really, I thought, that is really cool. So think about that. So whether it's in your life or whether it's in your work or whether it's in your stitching, if you think you can't, you're right, you can't. But if you think you can and you're reasonable about what you think you can accomplish, you're going to be right because you're going to do it. So to me, that's my motto for this year is I'm going to think I can, because I have a lot of big stuff coming up. So I can't be afraid, even though I should start probably trying to take reservations for my retreat house. I got to work that out, and I know I have to do it, and I will. So I know I can do it, even though we're in a pandemic. But I am sure that we're going to start retreating pretty soon. I have very good confidence in that. We do have the what is that thing called? The I can talk about everything in quilting, but I can't think of what is the cure for the virus? The antivirus?
Oh,
what is it? The shot.
Yeah.
What is it? What's it called?
Vaccination.
Oh, the vaccine. There you go. That totally left me. So we have the vaccine, the wonder cure, whatever. So I'm hoping that by July we have people in our retreat house. So that is one of the things that I have in my mind that I think is going to happen. And I'm going to be right about that one. So that is that part of that. So for my personal goals, I think my work goal is pretty big. So I'm not going to try to put in too many other work goals there. But as a personal goal, I still, every year, I'm going to treat this year no different than any other year. I'm still going to plan some travel. I'm still going to plan some events, because I think we all need something to look forward to. Whether that's going to visit friends and retreating versus maybe going to Scotland. I wanted to go to Scotland. So one of these years I'm going to go to Scotland, but maybe this is not the year for that. But if you don't put those things on your list, you're not going to do them. Now, hobbies. So hopefully your hobby is stitching. That's why you're here. And my hobby is stitching. That's why I'm here. But yet it is my work. So I have to find some other hobbies to do. And one of those is gardening. I love gardening. I'm going to take a flower course with Florette coming up soon. And then I also have goals for my home, like things I want to accomplish around here at Anchor Point. And then goals with the people in my life, like my husband. Every year I have a goal that I'm going to be nicer to Nick. Sometimes I'm really good at it. Sometimes not so much. But at least I acknowledge that I want to improve on that. And I'm not really mean to him, but I think we always could treat our spouses a little better because we get caught up in the moment. And if we do stress out, it's usually on them. So I want to get better at that and not know how to think, like, because I think everybody thinks, well, you know, I started the year last year thinking, you know, I have this, you know, why can't this be like this? Well, maybe my relationship isn't like that. Maybe that's not how it's meant to be. And just acknowledging the fact that every relationship is different, whether it's with your kids, whether it's with your husband, just trying to figure out what that really looks like and come up with something that you can live with and understand that that may be the way it should be, and not take that like it's a failure or it's not good enough. Maybe your relationship looks different than what you had in mind. So one of the things that I did last year was I worked with a life coach, and they helped me with that. And her name is Dara, and I will give you another opportunity to hang out with Dara, and maybe she can help you. So look for that coming up in 2021. But that's my personal goals without getting too personal. And my work goal is the retreat and the new store coming up. But there's some little ones in there as far as work goes. But I want to talk about the new stuff, the stuff you're interested in, the fabric lines. I have 5 Moda fabric lines coming out in 2021. That's crazy. So I don't know how that happened, and I just realized it when I did a blog post yesterday that I actually have 5. So they are American Gatherings coming in January, and that will come, it's supposed to come around the 17th, but we know that's going to be a little late. So just be patient with that. If you have your fat quarter tower ordered or kit or something like that, know that that's going to be a little bit later, because once that comes in, then we have to have time to cut those kits and get that fabric to you. So just please be patient. Our shipping isn't still what it used to be, and the mills, the fabric mills, are a little behind with that. So just kind of be patient and understand with that, and we appreciate that you know, you're not calling and wondering where that is. We will always inform you on these lives and in the group about that. So look for that there. So then my second fabric line is Urban Farmhouse Gatherings 2. That comes in April, and you will start to see a bunch of those quilts as they get quilted coming up. I will share those with you. And then in July, we have Yuletide Gatherings. And I thought it was super cool that I was going to start stitching during the holiday season, but that shipment got a little delayed. So now out in my porch is all my Christmas decorations. So when Kaylee and I have to photograph those quilts, we have all of the props still out and not down in the basement somewhere. So we're super excited about that I can just kind of carry on Christmas and create those projects. So I will be talking about those as well. And then we have Homestead Gathering Wovens coming in September, and then Starlight Gatherings coming in October. So those are the 5 lines. So let me just stop a little bit, and I want to rewind. And American Gatherings, here's the fat quarter tower. Those are what is needed to do our stitch along, our American Gathering stitch along. Now, I have all 20 blocks done for the stitch along, and I just have to set it, but I want to show you the quilt in the book because it's kind of the same, only it's the same block repeated, whereas our stitch along, this block will be different every time. So if you're not prepared to stitch along with us, this is a free stitch along on our blog, and the shops will be participating in it as well. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this now is because I set this one in blue. This is the primitive muslin that you could order. And one of the questions on the blog today was, how come you have two different sizes for background, which was this? So if you want 4 yards or 6 yards, I gave you that option. Like maybe you want a smaller sash, maybe you want a smaller quilt. So you can make this sashing smaller, you can do a smaller sashing here, or maybe you want to add more blocks, or maybe you want wider borders. So I gave you the 6 yards so you could do anything with that. And these two fabrics that I've picked for your options for your background, which is really your sashing and your borders, are pretty basic. So if you have some left over, that's okay. You can make pillows or whatever. But this is the same quilt, only that block is going to change. Now, I know you all probably want to see those blocks, right? You want me to start whipping them out. Well, I'm not going to. I want some of it to be a surprise, okay? I want some of it to be a surprise. I like surprises. I like it to be a little bit of a mystery. But one of the cool things about this is when I give you the first pattern, you're going to be able to mass cut all the red and white strips out of your red and white fat quarters. And you have plenty in your fat quarter tower to do this. Matter of fact, when I cut these blocks, I actually was cutting like 4 of each one of these each time, so I can demo them on our live videos that we're going to be doing along with this stitch along. Now, just also keep in mind that I was planning on February 1st, starting this stitch along, American Quilters stitch along. I wanted to start February 1st, but if that fabric doesn't arrive, we may push it back a little bit. So, or we go ahead and get one out there so that when the fabric comes, you have that. So are there any questions, Kaylee, on this?
How many yards for the one you were holding?
How many yards for that one?
Yep.
4 yards was plenty.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So that is one of the stitch alongs coming up in 2021, along with the American Gatherings fabric line. I also want to point out that Kaylee just put on our new video tutorial on how to prep, stitch, and connect these pennies for any penny mat. So this will work with any penny mat, but this is the one we use that's in our American Gatherings book that, again, comes out when that fabric comes out. So go to YouTube, watch our video, comment, like, do all the stuff, because if you don't know it, I guess we have been approved to be monetized a little bit. So we are starting to make a little money on our videos, which helps us because, you know, Kaylee needs a paycheck. We need equipment. So that helps pay for that. So if you watch that and you watch it till the end and you like it and you comment and you share it, that really helps us create a little bit of money for some of that stuff. And
it builds how we can provide and do more equipment.
Yeah, it builds momentum. And we're looking into some other things, like Kaylee was talking to me about, was it memberships? Mm-hmm. And super chats and some other things.
All the bells and whistles.
Yeah, and I know that Fat Quarter Shop does a lot of that, and we are looking into that too. So
because that's not only going to help build this, but it's also going to give our viewers some incentives.
And
some specialized, like, this is exclusive to you guys.
If they're in the membership?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, so I'm all for some of that stuff. So I miss teaching. So I'm trying to get a little comfortable teaching on YouTube, and I think after I watched this last video that we are getting better, aren't we, Kaylee? Because we didn't do this. So we have some new equipment. Like, one of the things that we were just messing around with right before we came on is we can't get our mic to work with the camera.
To work with the streaming platform.
The streamline. Yeah, so we can get it on our videos, but in StreamYard, we can't get it to connect to our camera. So we're running off we're running audio off the laptop. So it's not as great, but
it's a big learning curve.
Yeah,
we're getting there.
Please be patient with us. We are going to get better, but we are just learning some of that stuff. So that is American Gatherings. We're doing a stitch along. We have a bunch. Here's the book. So we're proofing the book as we speak. This was my last sloppy copy here. This is getting ready. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 quilts and 4 projects.
Show me that again. Turn it around.
Well, it's really sloppy.
Yeah.
I don't want to show her that. All right. So this, and again, I want to point out that the American Quilters Stitch Along is about raising money too for American veterans. So I'm going to talk a lot about that. We're going to raise some money. We have already raised $6,000 for Hogs for Heroes with the purchase of our fat quarter towers. So we also are going to do some raffles and maybe some auctions, and we're going to try to raise even more money for veterans with the American Gatherings fabric line. So I'm super proud of that, and I'm super stoked about that. So I can't wait for that fabric to come in. All right, so Urban Gatherings, you kind of know a little bit about that. So that's coming in April, and I will talk more about that. But what I want to talk about that I just got is Yuletide Gatherings. Flannel. So this is my flannel line. I come out with a flannel line every July. So last July, it was Farmhouse Flannels 2, and this one is called Yuletide Gatherings. And what's cool about this, I'll show you the SKUs in it. So I have a starched layer cake. So they're very stiff, ready for me to start working on a project. So yes, I do starch my pre-cuts. So Kaylee, I'm going to flip through these quick. So if you want to come down on them. So it has a dark gray or black, both in there. And I'll just go through this. We have buffalo plaid, another pretty plaid, gray buffalo, houndstooth, smaller plaids, gray. So we have gray, we have this gray and cream to it, but then we also dive into traditional. So you can have like urban farmhouse looking Christmas, or you can have traditional Christmas, and that's coming up. So this is what we're going to start working on. Here's the creams. And then we get into the creams will lead into the traditional green. And we kind of have a little bit of traditional green and a little bit of, you know, kind of a little brightened up green for a little bit of contrast. Because when you do these, you have to have contrast. You can't have just, this is my green. And so here's like the traditional green and then the brightened up green. We have both of those. All right, more houndstooth. And then here's a pin in here. And then we have the reds. And we have 2 reds, kind of the burgundy-ish red and then the brighter red. So I think we have something for everyone in this flannel Christmas. Herringbone, and then this is like a heather. So that is the Yuletide. And we also, so there's 39 SKUs, and then we also have a panel. So here's our panel. So we have Santa, we have some blocks that you can frame or make pillows out of. And then I'm going to show you a quilt diagram. I can't show you the real quilt yet of what we're going to make. paperwork. It's like the story of my life. We had to do a little bit of technical stuff. Okay, so here is the mock-up of the quilt we're going to make with the panel. So we have the big blocks in the big stars, and then we use the little pieces along the borders, and then we're going to do 8 pointed stars around. And this is flannel, and it looks to be like 72 by 78-ish.
More the bottom ones.
What's that?
There you go. Yep. Awesome.
Okay. And you all know I'm not used to working with panels. I pictured making tons of pillows with those. But then let's quickly go through the quilts that we have planned, because you're going to be seeing a lot of these coming up, but let's just give you a good, so this is what your shop owners are looking at right now. This is a pieced quilt, and it's pretty big, 92 by 92. So when I work with flannel, I tend to not do too small of pieces. And this one called Old Saint Nick is a remake of one of our traditional patterns that we have done, but I did it grayscaled with just Saint Nick's coat being red. And then here we have using everything in the line except only one light. But I probably could use those other lights in there. This one is called Christmas Spirit, and it is 84 by 84. Then we have Simple Gifts. This is one we're making right now. I'll show you that. I'm using it as a leader and ender project, and I'm teaching Christine and my sister Lisa how to quilt, so they will be helping me work on that one as well. And then we have some simple pinwheels, which called Pinwheel Lane, and then a Joy Runner. Here's another cool quilt called Patchwork Christmas. Merry and Bright. Who doesn't love a tree? All flannel, remember. And then I think we had a quilt called Covered with Love and Dreams Make Life Possible. So this is kind of that same sparse patchwork, and we did it traditional and then in the gray scale as well. And then one big monster quilt. They're done in gray. And those are the quilts we have for a book called Yuletide Gatherings, which again will have other projects in it as well. We do the quilts first, and then like there'll be stockings. So here's like a mock-up of a stocking with the flannel. So each one of my projects, that what I do is I have to, here's all the SKUs, like how much yardage each quilt takes. And then here's my, I call them our chicken scratches, or sloppy copy of each. So this quilt right here, this is how I figure out all my yardage. And each one of these has a sleeve with all the measurements and all the yardage. And that's how we do that. And then as we make them and quilt them, then this becomes a book instead of a binder with sleeves in it. So that might help you understand, these are the SKUs in the line, how that works. So here is that leader and ender project. This is really fun because it's just a square and then 4 triangles, and then you trim it down. So it's great Leader and Ender project, and that is a fat quarter tower using the whole line on that one. So that's Yuletide. That's what I'm going to be working on up in my room the next couple weeks. And I will be farming some of that out. I cannot do that all. That's one of my goals this year, is to pass some of that work off on some people to help me out, because with 5 fabric lines and a store going up and everything else, it's good that I let some of that go. So look for that. Now, in 2021, we also have something happening with a new book that I have coming out. It's shipping right now. I did get a couple early copies of it. So it is called Itty Bitty Celebrations. So those are all my winter ones you're going to see me talking about coming up. So Itty Bitty Celebrations is a book of little wool applique. We did some of these in our wool box. We did 52 of them, for one for each week. But everybody thought they were so cute that we added more and then put them in a book. So we are going to do a stitch along with this as soon as people get their books, because we don't have to start with January. We can start wherever, and we can just post our finished blocks and how we decorate with them or who we give them to, because this is kind of a nice little gift to give to somebody to keep by their desk, and then every month or every week, depending on how much you like them, you can make them a new one for their desk, or just, a little something. You can make magnets out of them. You can frame them. I saw one lady take her 52 from the wool box and make them into a quilt, and that was super cool. So if you've already ordered this book, or you order it soon, we are putting 2 $100 gift certificates randomly in 2 books. So I hope you're the one that gets that $100 gift card for the store. I didn't want to do that ahead of time. I wanted to say, hey, we're doing this. Those autograph copies that we're sending out right now that you've already pre-ordered, that's what they're going to go into. And maybe we'll add one more for you guys who maybe were on the fence about ordering it. Jessica, maybe we can add one more for the group that might order in the next couple days after watching this live. Jessica is watching us, right? Does she say anything?
She's on here, yep.
Okay. All right. So this just came, and this is our Moda book. Shop owners get this. We have a new designer for Moda. I think her name is Stephanie or Elisa. I can't remember. But anyways, I think she's from Wisconsin. So maybe she can come to our new shop and show off her new fabric line. But this catalog this time has a whole section of Christmas fabric. So we're going to have some fun starting in July with all the cool Moda fabric lines and the Christmas stuff that we have coming up. So look for some of this stuff. We'll be going through this a little more, and I'll be talking about what we ordered and what you can look forward to. That's not mine. That's the other Moda designer stuff, because we like to support them as well and sell their things. One of the things I was just working on with Christine and Lisa teaching them was I made a 9-patch quilt out of Vanessa from Lella Boutique. Her line called Smoke and Ash, or Ash and Smoke, one of them. I can't remember which way it went. But I combined my fabric with her fabric, and we made a little 9-patch quilt. It's not little, it's actually quite nice size. And that helped me teach Christine and Lisa how to make 9 patches. So it worked for both of us. So look for some of the other Moda designer stuffs coming up as well. Now, those of you who did the wool box and got the panel, I think we should do a stitch along with these as well. Keep you current, keep you motivated. Maybe we offer some prizes for those of you who keep up. So look for this to start as well. We are going to sell these panels that we made to the people who didn't get the wool box. And yes, don't worry, they are going to be paying a lot more than what you did because you got yours at 40% off with our wool box when you subscribe. So this is a panel of 40 designs, and then it has some other things to it. So you might see this in the stitch group. So that's the whole panel. And I loved how the girls from the shop stitched their projects when they gave them to me. And they use this, the sulky. And I think this is really cool on how it looks. So look for this along with on our website for the Redwork Christmas panel. And I will let you know when that is available as well. And like I said, maybe we do one of these a week to keep everybody going on that and make it fun. So that is going to be another little stitch along in our group as well. All right, I got to take a drink. I've been talking a lot. So Kaylee will look for some questions.
Jess is on top of them. I don't know.
Yeah, Jess is really good. She's got that. So one of the things I do want to talk about, did I tell them about the new video for long arm yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, so while I'm finding where I am here, I want to talk about a new video that we are going to release tomorrow. And we're super excited about this. It is on our long arm quilting. So you're going to be so impressed with Luke when you hear him talk about how passionate he is about his long arm quilting, and Jake as well. And you're going to meet Tyler. And like I said, you're going to connect with him, and hopefully you're going to want to send him one of your All right, so I was talking about Luke and his long arm quilting and how Kaylee's going to release a video tomorrow on our long arm quilting
At 2.
At 2 o'clock
Mm-hmm.
Central Standard Time.
Yes.
So that's 3 o'clock on the East Coast, 1 o'clock Mountain, noon on Pacific. Okay, so look for that long arm video and it's done super well. I was like, yes, and it's only 10 minutes, so it's not very long, but it is super cool to listen to Luke talk about the long arming and how excited he is. All right, so I'm glad I got that in and didn't forget about that. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the wool boxes. For 2021, our wool box subscription is full, but Jess did send me an email right before saying that in January, we may have a couple openings from those people whose January will be their last box. But I want you to also know what I have planned for 2021 for the wool box. I think I should let you know, right? You're already signed up, most of you, but if you're on the fence about maybe getting those last couple spots that we may have, this might help you, or maybe not. Maybe you're like, okay, I don't need to do that. But we are going to do a 2-year project. I'm going to recreate one of my antique quilts that I've never shown you. It is amazing. You're going to get 4 blocks of hand stitching. There's no complicated piecing in the quilt at all, but it is still interesting, if that makes sense. I don't know. But it is a 2-year project. You're going to get 90 some blocks in 2 years. And then there's also a 1-year project, and that is all wool. So I'll let you know that it's a penny mat. So you're going to get 4 pennies each box. And then you're going to get either one big project and a little project, or you're going to get 2 medium projects. So that's kind of how the main meat of this set of boxes is going to go for 2021. And you will be excited about it. It's going to be amazing. We love doing the wool boxes, and I have, believe it or not, I have things organized and planned, and so by the end of March, I will have all my projects done and completed for the wool boxes. I think it's March. Without looking at my list, I can't tell you, but I've set myself a schedule to work ahead on all the projects for the wool box. So I am super stoked about being ahead and being able to plan and not being last minute, because I don't know if you realize this, but with 1,300 people, if I do anything with a half yard of fabric, that's 650 yards of flannel or wool or whatever that is. That's a lot of flannel or a lot of wool. So we really have to plan ahead for that. So you will love the project. Trust me. So if you're in, you're going to be very happy. Okay, now where am I now? So I think I've done that. So 2021, we're still talking about that. That's all done. That's all done. Okay. Another thing that's going to happen in 2021 is Farmhouse Friends. Do we know what that is? Do you remember Farmhouse Threads and Friends? We did a couple mystery projects through the years. Well, they are going to do another sew along called Let It Snow. So it'll be winter themed, and that is going to start in May. Right now we have a little something going on with our village blocks that we're offering kits for those. We did offer those village blocks as a freebie when you ordered our project previously, but now we are offering them as a kit and pattern only. So look for that on our websites and on our Facebook group, Farmhouse Threads and Friends. Okay, I think I got that right. Okay, now I'm done with that. Ongoing projects. All right, so this is super huge news. Now you all are going to be so happy. Jessica, I said to Jessica, we have to figure out how to get tracking information to our people so they're not all wondering, where's my package? Did you ship it? Is it in transit? Where is it? So Jessica has figured out a way to give you tracking information on your orders coming up. Not the ones you already placed, the new orders for 2021. What that'll look like is you will get an email when we ship your order. That email will say, hey, we're shipping your order, and here is your tracking number. Now, if you don't get an email, that means we didn't ship your order. So you don't have to call us and say, did you ship my order? Because you're going to know you didn't get an email, we didn't ship your order. But if we did ship your order, you will be able to follow it on its crazy path to you. And we all know that some of these boxes have taken some crazy paths around the country to get to you. Hopefully, after the holiday season, that will have ended, and these boxes will get to you in a much quicker manner and more efficient. So hopefully, that will all kind of even out now that the holiday season is over. But how exciting is tracking on your Primitive Gatherings packages? Thank you, Jessica, because that will really help with the phone calls and the time it takes for somebody to look up your order and all that. So that is a big win for Primitive Gatherings for 2021. We need to really celebrate that. Okay, now I think I talked about everything. Yep. All right. So a couple things, since we are talking about 2020 and now we're talking about 2021 and looking ahead. So with that new build, I want you all to know that we might need some of your help. We may need you to spread the word that we need new employees coming up. We need help. And what do we need for new employees? Now, I get that some of you can't help us out. You're way too far away. But maybe your friend lives in Wisconsin or whatever. But I think being a part of this new building and this new adventure of Primitive Gatherings is going to be awesome. And I'm trying to make this a super cool place to work. And to be a part of it is going to be amazing. So these are some of the things that we may need help with coming up. So if you can help us out with any of this, if you're local, or maybe some of these can be done remotely, who knows, right? So we are going to need shop people. We're going to need more part-time people, retail. We're going to need people who are knowledgeable about our products for picking and shipping. We probably need some more video help, right, Kaylee?
Right.
We need kit persons. We expect to grow. We don't expect to stay the same as what we are right now. So we are going to need a lot of help. We could use help with social media and graphics. I know my graphic girl does an amazing job, but I think she needs help. She may not think so, but I do. We need cooks for our new retreat house. I think we are going to come up with a menu, and I want several cooks working there. I don't want to just rely on one. I want several happy cooks who can have days off, who can come and go and plan and work together and create a really cool environment for our retreat house. We need sample makers. I'm willing to ship things to you to help us make things, help us create some of the other Moda designers projects. And I know I put that out there before, but if you just want to say, hey, I'm still here and I'm still willing. If you have contacted me before, I do have a list, but now I'm really going to reach out for that list. So if you don't want to be left out, or you really, really want to do this to help us out, you let me know, and you can contact me on Facebook Messenger that way. And that also, I will check those to make sure we consider you to be a sample maker. We also need a farmer and a groundskeeper. I have big plans for this building, so we need a farmer. And I don't care if it's a guy or a girl farmer or flower keeper, groundskeeper. I can't do it all. I'm going to be out there, but I know I can't do it all. And maybe, I want sheep and chickens and maybe some goats. And
we've already established that they're going to come over to our house on the weekend.
Okay, yeah. Kaylee, yeah. Or your kids can come help feed them or whatever that looks like. So also, I wanted to just give you a little idea, because part of what I do for Primitive Gatherings is I try to only do what I can do for the business. I don't try to do everything. I rely very heavily on my managers and my people I put in charge of certain things. So just to give you an idea, this is some of the things that I have to take care of on a daily basis. Like, I have to go through my emails every day. I have to make sure I put them in the right spot. I have to make sure I contact the people on a timely basis. And emails really eat up a lot. Social media, I still am very in charge of a lot of that, of posting. I also am in charge of a lot of the stitching, but I am getting a little better at delegating some of that. But I like to stitch, and I'm good at it, and I'm fast. So I don't really want to give all that away, but I'm willing to farm some of that out. Designing, I need to design. But if you maybe want to help design, I don't think there's anything wrong with having other people design for Primitive Gatherings. That was my whole goal in the beginning, was to open this up. Maybe you work for us, maybe you design already, maybe your design business isn't going the way you wanted to. We at Primitive Gatherings, in the new one, we're going to have modern stuff. We're going to have all kinds of, we're going to have 30s, we're going to have brights, we're going to have everything. We can have a modern gathering section. So I'm open. You want to design, submit a design to me, and I pay you for that. Hey, I'm all for that. I need to think about the lives, these live videos, and the YouTubes. That's a big part of planning. I also have to take care of that new building, getting that ready, and I need to be a CEO. So I need to try to take care of my people and what they're doing and to be a part of all that. And I'll admit that that's kind of hard to do when you're running around the country. So I'm looking forward to being here at home at our new place and being more involved with all what's going on in a day-to-day business. So that's kind of what I do in a day besides my homework, being at home, being a wife, being a grandmother, cooking in my kitchen and trying to have a little bit of a life. And it's pretty good. I have no complaints about that. So I hope you enjoyed our look back at 2020 and our look forward into 2021. I tried really hard not to sell you anything in this live because we are still working very hard on your orders. And I know Jess texted me a few things that I needed to talk about, so I'm checking them right now before I sign off. She says we are working fast as we can to get those orders out. We are waiting on stock from our distributors, and we should have them within a week or two. And remember that they were on holiday as well. So basically, the next 2 weeks we'll be getting all that in, and we'll be working on getting your orders out to you from our holiday event. I know that 30, 20, 10 machines came in today, so we will be shipping those out to you. So look for your 2010 Jukies. Our wool boxes are going to be shipping on the 20th of each month. So our 2021 boxes are January, May, September, November. I think I got them all. January, May, September, November. We're going to have a July box too. We are going to have a special Christmas box, and it's not going to be at the end of the year. We're going to do that earlier, and we may be able to do a Halloween box as well, especially since I'm going to have all the wool box projects done in the first part of the year. So remember, the 20th is when we are aiming for shipping for wool boxes. We used to tell you the 15th, but that was really unrealistic because your box would charge on the 15th, and then we would have to wait a couple days to make sure all of that cleared. So just from now on, get in your mind that the 20th is actually the first day that we start shipping those. And then I think I got everything, Jessica, right? So let me know if I missed anything in here. But again, I can't tell you how much I appreciate everything that you do for Primitive Gatherings, by purchasing, by hanging out in our group, by inspiring, showing your finished projects. And I just want you to be a part of this. And one of the things I want to talk about in our Stitch with Lisa group, and that is, I want that group to be really positive. We are going to change some of the rules in that group. I want it to be about the quilts, the wool projects, not about, oh, I didn't get my box yet. So we are going to moderate that group a little bit more. And if you have questions, if you are concerned about your box, and I get that, you want to know where your stuff is, but I think that group is not the spot for it. Message the shop. We have Facebook Messenger or email them. That's how you ask about your stuff. But now with that shipping, that confirmed tracking stuff, we should eliminate a lot of that. So please keep in mind, and I think you're all going to agree with me, that our Stitch with Lisa group should be very uplifting, very positive, very fun, and that's what we really want in there. We don't want to hear all that stuff about, but we understand, so it's not like we don't care. We care, but we just want that group to have a little bit of a different look for 2021. All right, everybody? So I'm going to sign off. If you have any questions, please ask them in the group. We will monitor the group. We are always here for you, and we can't thank you enough for 2020. And please try to stitch every day. Bye now.